Welcome back. You're still watching The Perspective, and we're still talking to Mr. Tony Kwok from ICAC Hong Kong. Let me come back to what you have said before, the question of amnesty. For Indonesia is a large country. I mean, we've been deep-rooted in corruption for decades, and it's very difficult to get almost really clean people with a clean track record to fill both the KPK and both the police. And do you see this amnesty as being crucial to the
I think this question of amnesty, many countries actually have been thinking about it. Right. I mean, if you have a long-time problem of corruption, many people may be involved in corruption, either actively or passively, either in a big way or small way. So suddenly you start taking strict action. So it would be difficult. So some kind of amnesty is reasonable to enable people to turn over a new leaf. But the Hong Kong example, I don't think is something that you can take as an example,
like that, and
because
move it to us,
it was a rush decision, and then you actually create a lot of question marks. So if you try to do that here or in other countries, there will be a number of questions that you need to answer. Where do you set the line? Are you saying that you should give blanket amnesty to everyone, including those who are very big fish and small one? And how about what happened to the corrupt process? Can they continue to enjoy those corrupt processes?
Question before you go on. The amnesty was only on corruption practices or any other crimes? I mean,
only corruption. Only on corruption. Only corruption. So these are the difficult questions to answer. But I have my own thinking, and I came up with one possible suggestion, is that it should be a conditional amnesty. Anyone who wants to enjoy amnesty have to make a declaration. For example, to KPK, said, "Oh, I confess, I have done all these offenses. Okay, this is the confidential one. No need to be open." And then whatever you have confessed will be pardoned. Okay, and then on another condition is that you also have to declare your assets or your controlled assets, and then you have to explain what are the assets which you can explain and what are the assets you cannot explain. So for the asset you cannot explain, so one can assume that it comes from the corrupt source. So you have to sort of surrender that portion of the asset which you cannot justify. So you can maintain your explainable asset. We're not taking away all your asset, and on that condition, then you'll be given amnesty. So if KPK then receive a complaint, they can check on your declaration. If you have declared it, then you will take no further action. You fail to declare, then of course they can continue to take action. So I think this will be a fair way, so that the corrupt people, officials, they have the chance to turn over a new leaf. But then, of course, they should not be allowed to enjoy the corrupt process.
Fruit of their corruption in the past. And you think this is also applicable to Indonesia?
I think can applicable to all the world. This is Tony Kwok's model. Nobody ever suggested before.
And well, it's also difficult for when you look at the case of KPK now, for example. It's the members are not really charged of corruption in that sense. It's malfeasance or not criminal, but offenses that contravene against the law. So it's not graft that they're charged with.
Well, I think that would be a very narrow definition of corruption. I mean, generally accepted corruption is a bigger word. Any abuse of the power, authority for personal gain, private gain, other people's gain. So that would include all these malfeasance. Giving a contract to your son, and then bribery, fraud, any fraudulent act against the government or other people or your employer, embezzlement. So I think it's quite justified for for KPK to deal with all these cases on the wider sense of the definition of corruption.
So this amnesty should be available to all officials, to police,
to everyone. I think that should be fair. That should be fair. As long as it's conditional, then you declare it.
So basically, you start with a new leaf after.
That's right. That's right. So that would be good.
And another thing that rather disturbs me and with KPK is a question of funding. In Hong Kong, you're funded by the government, or you're funded?
We are, of course, funded by the government. And although we have 1,300 staff, we believe we have we have adequate resources compared with many other anti-corruption agencies. I'd like to show a very, very interesting percentage is that our budget only amounts to about 0.2% of the entire national budget, government budget.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So no government, I would like to think, can say that I cannot afford 0.2% of my budget to fight a very serious problem, corruption. Yeah. But in many countries which I have visited, where their agencies are not really particularly effective, first thing I ask is that what's the percentage? And many of countries, the percentage is about 0.01%.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't know about.
I
don't want to comment about Capica.
Okay.
But people can check that out. Yeah.
Okay. But just a curious question: how long did it take for Hong Kong to go from really bad police to now good police?
I think people said it will take a long time, decade. Let me tell you, it depends on what you talk about the state of corruption. Right. The most serious state of corruption is corruption is widespread. Right. It's open. Everybody.
The public corruption.
Open, yes. And it's well organized, syndicated corruption. Syndicated corruption. It took us only 3 or 4 years to say that. No more open. Nobody dare to be open. No more organized. Right. Nobody dare to organize because the way you have a syndicate means easier to catch. Right. But there probably 3 or 4 years later, there's still a lot of corruption. But there are then very secret type of corruption, individual corruption. And probably you never know, and then you just continue to deal with it. But it's important for the society that's not open or syndicated corruption.
Okay. We will have to break again. Please stay with us. We will be back.